Welcome to the Gospel Worker 2025 YouTube channel. Before I begin, I ask that you subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends and fellow believers. I am a Seventh-day Adventist, but I am speaking not only to Adventist fellow believers, but to all Christians. In today's video, I will discuss how Christianity has become deformed under the influence of liberalization and how people have forgotten the teachings of the Bible. Searching the Bible and comparing it with the writings of Ellen G. White and my own life experiences, I have discovered an order that contradicts the logic of modern theology. Because the Bible teaches something different from what many preach. But let's look at what Christianity originally taught. I have summarized it in 7 points to make it understandable. Faith. Through faith we accept grace, and through faith we are saved. But through faith we also obey. Ellen G. White teaches that faith will be our shield of defense, with which we will be more than conquerors. Apart from faith in the Lord of hosts and obedience to his commandments, every other power is powerless. Obedience to God's commandments. Those who are obedient to God's law will be named in heaven as the faithful children of the Lord of hosts. As intelligent human instruments, we must present to the world the kind of character that is formed in man through complete obedience to God's laws. We can glorify God by obeying his holy law. The gift of grace. Grace does not only mean that we receive mercy at the judgment, but also the treasury of the Lord's riches, the gifts and fruits of the Holy Spirit. The shield of grace can protect everyone from the temptations of the enemy. Through firm principles and trust in God, their character radiates light, and their integrity does not necessarily have to be soiled. Love. Love is the fruit of grace. Our love is flawed and selfish. True love is given and worked out in us by God in return for faith and obedience. First, the seed must be planted, then watered and cared for, and only then does it bear fruit. Sanctification. Sanctification is a process, not to be confused with being born again. After we are born again in an instant and Christ dwells in our hearts, we begin a journey, the path of sanctification, the formation of character. Temptations come constantly, and just as Jesus said no and remained faithful to the Father, so we also say no and do not fall through faith in God, the blood and broken body of Jesus, and the power and comfort of the Holy Spirit. It matters what we teach about Christ, because if the image we form of him is false, the copy will also be false. Many believe that Jesus Christ took on sin-prone human nature, and therefore we also have to fight through our life of faith with a sin-prone human nature until the coming of Jesus. This false belief explains weaknesses and failures, thus making Christianity more comfortable, since we have no other option. But at the same time, it prevents us from becoming partakers of the divine nature through faith. Whereas no sin-prone evil inclination was found in Jesus, and if we are born again, then we are also freed from the inclination to sin and become partakers of the divine nature. The servants of God are partakers of the divine nature, who have escaped the corruption that is in the world. God's grace has made this possible for them. Filling of the Holy Spirit. I know that the Holy Spirit is constantly present in every stage of the Christian life. But there will be a stage in our lives when we will be filled with the gifts of the Holy Spirit without measure. This will be the latter rain. However, there are conditions for this. That's why I put it in 6th place. And the latter rain is also preceded by an early rain, about which we talk little. The development of Christ's character. Christ's character must be formed in us even before his coming. This is the pinnacle, the complete preparation for his coming, and thus we become fully fit for the kingdom of heaven. Ellen G. White taught that the Holy Spirit comes to us not with limited power, but with the fullness of his divine power. It is the Spirit who cleanses our hearts. Through the Spirit, the believer becomes a partaker of the divine nature. I believe that if I do not follow the Lord with faith and obedience, then I cannot partake of his grace. God saves by grace, not by works. This is clear. But if the sick person does not look to Jesus in faith, no matter how much Jesus says, "Rise and walk," faith is missing. Therefore, the obedient act will also be missing, and the sick person will not move because they did not believe that immediate healing is possible through God's grace. Thus, in practice, grace will not be realized. The fruit of grace is love. Through pure love and the power of God, which is the gift of His grace, I dedicate my life to God. I am born again, which is the work of a moment, and the process of sanctification begins, which lasts until the end of my life. I am filled with the Holy Spirit without measure, and the character of Christ is fully formed in me. All this before His coming, before the close of probation. In the following videos, I will explain in detail all 7 points that I have listed here in order. Please come with me. Let's see together how our lives can be transformed in practice. I walk with you, because if I have formulated and written something down, it does not mean that I have fully realized it in my life. I have my struggles every day, but every day I also have realizations after my falls, which help me to get rid of my unnecessary spiritual frills, which are just external decorations, disguises to hide my weakness. I have to stand naked before God's judgment seat, hiding nothing, because what I cling to, I hide. These thoughts that I have now shared with you are explained in more detail in my book. Please read my book. Its title is Jesus is My Boss, and it can be purchased and downloaded online for a symbolic price. Please subscribe to my channel, share it with your loved ones and fellow believers, so that others may also know this message that I believe is important. The link to the book can be found in the description.